So, yeah, no, it's good.
This is episode 8, volume 3, chapter 2, and I haven't read it.
Yeah. It's okay, because I have.
Reread it.
Yeah.
This time around. Yeah,
It's all good.
which is fine.
Yeah, it's fine, because I have read the things. So, hello, and welcome to Nanopod, the podcast dedicated to the fantastic manga written by Ayazawa. I'm Crystal.
Kirsten.
And we are here to dissect this manga, discussing everything from the emotions, the cultural impact, as well as any headcanons that might be floating around in our brains. With this podcast, we hope to preserve a shoujo staple that sadly hasn't been talked about in a very long time. We are here in apartment 707, and you already gave all that other stuff. So I guess we will open up on the chapter, which has poor Hachi realizing that after the month that she moved to Tokyo, her crowning lucky streak crashed. She's broke now. She's completely broke.
She's so broke. She's so broke.
She's so broke. So she's like yelling about it to Nana. She's like, "Oh man, I'm totally broke." And just Nana being cool as a cucumber is like, "Well, yeah." And we get this shot of just Hachi's room, and everything is unpacked now, but the clothes, the vanity table.
Right, she has so much stuff.
There's so much crap, and I'm like, dang, and I kind of wonder how much all that cost. Like, I really do.
Well, I mean, but she's not paying for it.
Well, she kind of is, though. Like,
Kind of. Because she had, see, here's the thing. She had the money to move.
Yep.
Right? But then she got the job.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And all of this stuff is from the job.
Yes.
Ah.
Nah. So, she's kind of freaking out, and she's like, okay, I don't really get it, because I had money saved up when I got here, and she's kind of doing the math. And Nana's like, okay, but like if you spend money, like you don't have money. So, and you are a shopaholic, and everything you just kind of see things and you buy them like an idiot.
And she tries to justify it by Mizukoshi giving her like good prices, like a good deal.
Right.
And she didn't see, this is my point. She didn't pay for them because it's coming out of her salary.
I know, but that's kind of also like
she was
paying for it.
spending her cash, and she's also spending the money she hasn't actually gotten yet.
Yes, which is kind of, well, it's not funny, but Nate dated someone who did this exact same thing, and then also was like Hachi and was like, how do I not have money? It's
Right.
like, well,
we also have a timeline marker.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, because Nana says, now I see why your pay was so little last month.
Oh, that's right. And your translation is slightly different from mine, isn't it?
So it's been a month now.
That's like, oh, a month. That's a long.
They moved in. They've been in the apartment for a month.
Oh my God,
she bought Tokyo for a month.
She bought all that in like a month?
Well, but she works in the shop, so she's just taking it home. She's not really buying it.
But that's substantial. That's a lot. There's like 4 or 5 bags on that shelf in there. Like, that's a lot.
Right. It's a lot of furniture, because we know that she already had a lot of clothes. So like there's that part. But she is buying clothes to fit into the store.
Yes.
But then she like promptly blames Mizukoshi for tricking her.
Yep. It's like, maybe he ripped me off, and Nana's like, no, you just spent all the dollars.
Right. And in my translation it says you're just getting what you deserve.
Oh yeah, in mine she's like, girl, your chicken came home to roost.
Well, and like it also says, I don't know if like you have a little word blurb of how much money she has, but she has 2,228 yen left.
Yeah.
So she's $20.
Oh, okay, because I'm just like, there's a lot of like numbers that happen in this chapter, and I'm like, I can't. That's math.
So around this time, like you could just add a decimal, like move the comma over. And that was roughly the currency in exchange.
Okay, so she's got $20 left?
She has $20 left. Yeah.
Oh my God, no. That's dull. I mean, I've been there, but not like on purpose. It's like, no, with all of our bills and all of the, like just living expenses, we have been down. Not like we bought all these clothes and
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, also, this is the year 2000, so
it's true.
the
That
economy was
is,
so different.
it was. So then like Hachi is asking Nana like, what about, your money situation? Like how are you making it? You don't even have a job. And Nana's just like, yeah, but I don't spend anything either.
Right.
And Hachi is like, I'm glad for you that you don't do that. And Nana's like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not giving you any money here. Like, no, we're not doing that. And Hachi's like, no, no, I don't mean like that. Like, I
Yes,
just
she does.
mean, oh, yeah, I mean, she probably.
No, she does. Well, and I just like this is part of like the anime that I rewatched last night.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so like in the anime, she's like, "Oh, so you can cover rent." But like that's
No.
the relief. Like that's how I translate the sigh of relief that she has.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I always thought it was too. I'm just like, oh, you're not fooling anybody. Like,
Right.
she's like, well, wouldn't you be like bummed if we were both broke? And Nana's just flat out like, no, do not depend on me
Right.
to
Yeah.
like do the
Yeah,
things.
we agreed to split the rent. Like
Yeah.
that's it, right?
Oh, and like take a shot because she's like freak out crying. So,
This whole time.
this
So you can
whole
make a
time,
drink.
right? Go make a drink.
Go make a drink. Or
And
just a bigger glass of wine.
yes, yes, definitely do that. Oh my goodness. And this section here I think is interesting because I know we've talked about like the differences between how June treats Hachi and how Nana treats
Mhm.
Hachi. And
Mhm.
here, like Nana's just straight up with her. She's just like, this is the deal. We each are supposed to pay our share of the things. If you do not have the money, I am kicking you out. Like, that's it.
Right. Yeah.
And Hachi's like, she calls her a bitch. She's
Oh, she
just,
calls her a monster in mine.
oh, she just straight up calls her a bitch. But Nana's just like, she's like, what? Excuse you? Like, and then, Hachi's trying to make her feel like she's trying to do a guilt trip. She's like, you don't care if I'm homeless or starved to death. And Nana's like, oh, you're such a drama queen. Like, whatever. Like, I'm over it. Also, I'm going to work.
Yeah, your translation is so different.
Oh, is it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Cause like
Uh, you
cause
know.
like Nana is like, the truth is, even if I died alone like a dog, you wouldn't care at all.
Oh, that's still manipulation, though.
No,
Like,
it's super manipulative, but like it
so
does
bad.
play on the Hachi thing, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Like, died like a dog.
Yeah, no, and then Nana's like, ah, is that so? Want to find out if that's true? Die. She straight up tells her to die as she's walking out.
Oh man, I think that's interesting though because like I know like one of the last episodes like when we were in the chapters you had mentioned that Hachi just wants a dramatic life and here Nana's just calling her out like you're just a
Right,
drama queen. Oh my
right.
God.
Well, and I think that I might actually go back with these translations and read those first ones because, like, while I was watching the anime, I was really thinking about the tonal difference of
Hmm.
Hachi in the anime versus to what we were rereading. And I'm curious to see if I would have the same opinions on Hachi with these translations.
Huh. That would be interesting.
Yeah, I've been really because I'm like, huh, okay, so that's a different tone to Hachi. Even Shoji and Hachi's relationship has a different tone in the anime.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, I wonder if it's just like these weird, like whitewashed, like translations
Maybe.
that like, you know what I mean? So I want to go back and read like fan translations
Yeah.
and see if there's a difference there.
You're gonna be spending so much time in this universe. My
I
goodness.
am. I am. I've even been working on like deleting all of my Sims CC so that I can like get new CC that's not broken so that I can start my Yasuo verse again.
Oh, okay. You had to just do the delete thing.
Yeah, because I this too much of it is broken.
Fair. Sad. Very
I know.
sad
I
though.
know. I know. It's what happens though when you use custom content because it's like not the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like Nana starts to go to work and
Yeah, and
Hachi is like, I beg you, don't leave me.
yeah, she's kind of telling him that. Like, I was like, don't leave me alone to die. And she's like, yeah, no, dude, I gotta go to work. And she doesn't tell her like what she does, like at
No,
all.
no.
No.
Like in my translation, she asks her if she's going to work in an SMN club, and then in the
Yep.
little words, it says a whipping queen.
Oh, mine says a dominatrix, which okay, this is another part of like we've seen it before, but Hachi's gonna do it again. Like she's convinced now
Right,
that that's where Nana works.
right. Because well, she makes the stories in her head and
She does.
makes the assumptions real.
Yeah.
And then Nana's like, I hope you have a nice night with your ghost friend.
Yeah, she's like, just go sleep with the ghost and just leaves and yep, more drinking because Hachi's on the ground like and there's a little ghost behind her.
Yeah.
And
And so then we're in like
yeah.
Nana headland about how she only has 20 bucks and she's so scared and like she needs to find a way out of her money problem and this isn't time to think about ghosts.
Nope, not the time. So what does she do? She goes to mom and
Because
dad.
yeah, she goes to June and Kyosuke.
Yep. Because parents. So
Uh-huh.
she's like, I didn't move to Tokyo to starve and suffer. And June's like, so why did you move here? And she has no answer.
You can't
She's
answer.
she's she has
And
to
then she's
sit
like,
and
to
think
be
about it.
more independent.
Right? With a question like, please help me. Is this why I moved here? Is this the reason that I did this?
Right. Well, and like in the little caption on mine, it says, otherwise Shoji would never have let me come.
Yep. Yeah, mine says
Because like
something
that's the
similar.
thing, is he said you have to be independent.
Yep. And June's just like, well, then you need to get it together. And Hachi's like, but like, how? And June's just like, I just make it happen. And then Hachi's like, but I can't be a dominatrix because again, she's convinced that
Right.
that
Right. She's in mine it says, but I don't want to be, or I wouldn't make a good whipping queen.
and June is just like,
Whipping
what?
queen?
Yeah,
Right.
what? And just what are you talking about? And then Kyosuke is just like, okay, well, why don't you just talk to Shoji and mooch
Yeah.
off him? Which I think is interesting because it's kind of like, do you remember you have a boyfriend that you could ask for help
Right.
if
Why
you
aren't you going
needed
to
it?
your boyfriend?
Yeah, I started thinking about that, and I'm just like, is this like him pushing? Not in a bad way, but like,
Right. Well, in
hey,
the anime, and I don't remember at this point. Let me scroll a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So in the anime, she does go to Shoji.
that's like later though, isn't it?
Uh,
Like way later. It's way later, and she's like
Not
crying.
in the anime edit.
Oh, interesting.
They changed a lot of it in the anime edit.
True. Very
Okay, yeah,
true.
it is later. It is later here. Okay.
Yeah. So she pretty much tells like Kyosuke like no because if he sees me like this he's gonna
Mhm.
get sick of me and he's gonna hate me
Yeah.
and he's working and going to school and I just can't put him out by showing up in the middle of the night which is exactly what she's done too.
Right. Which is what she's done to them.
And June points it out she's like yeah it would put out some people like it's not subtle.
Right. And then Kyosuke's like, "All right, I understand. Please stop crying.
Yeah, and then he
Make
tries
this
to
money. It'll last you."
yeah, and he's trying to be, he's such a dad move. He's just like, okay, just like borrow this to the end of the month and
Like, but he doesn't say borrow it. He
oh, he
doesn't
doesn't
say borrow
mind.
it. Right. Okay, so he doesn't say borrow it in this one, and he doesn't say borrow it in the anime either.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, in my tries like he's like just borrow this till the end of the month.
And then like it's June getting mad and saying we can't afford to do that either. And then he explains it's not a gift, I'm just lending it.
Oh yeah, and he says
And
like I'm loaning it, like it's not a
right.
big
And
deal.
June explains that like Nana won't understand that.
I mean, yeah, in mine she's just like, no, if you give that to her, she'll spend it like right now. And I'm like, well, that's
That's a
true.
Yeah, that's true.
That's facts. I also really like that picture of as Kyosuke's attempting to give her money, like how
Right.
she's got this heart. She's like,
Right.
huh? Just
Yeah.
so happy, but nope. So Junko, because now again, Nana is like, "Oh, June, you're just so mean to me. You want me to die, essentially." And all of a sudden, there's rice on the
Right.
table,
Right.
and
I
she's
love
like,
this part though because it's so nostalgic. Because when I first moved out and I didn't have any food, my mom brought me a huge bag of rice,
"Oh,
and I'm like, "Oh, this is like your first move out thing. Like, here's rice. It'll last."
yeah, yeah." I mean, my mother is consistently giving me like food like all the time. I love it though because I hate cooking. Like to be honest,
hmm
I hate cooking.
hmm
It takes away from I want to do other things.
I
I'm
really like cooking,
ugh,
but I
someone's
like
got to.
cooking. I like cooking things that like I don't know. I like cooking like my tradition food. So like I like cooking like well, I make a lot of beans. But like I like all the flavors. So like once you get it only takes like a half hour to prep it, right? But then it cooks all day. And then you
Yeah,
have food for a long time. And then all you have to do is like make rice
true.
or
I
get
just
tortillas, and you're like good to go.
yeah, I mean, I'm learning to bulk cook. It's just like it's usually because I'm like doing art and then I'm like,
hmm
but you have to go make food and my body's like, but I'm not
Right. I
done
don't like cooking
drawing
every
this.
day.
I have to cook every day.
Like that's what I try to avoid.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
by doing like I'm making this thing, you know what I mean? Like it lasts a few days and we're good because it's delicious too. Because I like layering like flavors.
Yeah, that I wish I would. I'm learning how to do flavors because again, I hate cooking. I like baking because baking is like, yeah, this is
I like baking
exciting.
bread. Yeah, I made bagels a couple months
Mm,
ago, and that was a lot of fun.
yum.
But it took all day. So yeah, I get that. Like I like to do other things. I don't like to spend all of my time cooking, but that's also why I like to. I mean, so much tradition food though. It's not just like a meal.
Mm,
Like you make food so that you don't have to focus on it.
right? Yeah. I can get down with that.
When I come visit,
Yeah.
I'll teach you some things.
You should. I mean, because I'm trying here. Like he's like proud of me. He's like, your flavors are getting better, and you are cooking in bulk. I'm like, yeah, because I don't want to cook every night.
Exactly.
I want to draw my little cute horsey people. Like, like I
Yeah,
don't.
or like when I make like chicken, like I'll make oregano chicken. It's oregano garlic chicken. But like I'll make
Mm,
a bunch of it. You know what I
yum.
mean? Like I won't just make one set.
Yeah,
Like I'll make
much.
enough for like a few meals. And so then I'll generally already have like beans cooked. So like it's already, you know what I mean? Like there's already things
Yeah,
and it helps out a lot. And then rice is something easy to make every day. Like you just set it up, you turn it on, it's done. You know what I mean?
it's true. I also just realized recently that I've been doing rice incorrectly.
Oh no. I got a fancy rice cooker because I was like, I'm over this.
Oh, Nate
So
wants
like if I'm not making Spanish rice, then like I just use my rice cooker. So then it's just like warm all day and I can just grab some.
fair. I didn't realize. Apparently, this is gonna shock no one in the audience, but white people don't know how to make rice. Like we are taught incorrectly how to make rice. It is we don't know. And I watched this one guy in YouTube, and this British lady was making rice, and okay, so she like put the rice in the pot and she didn't wash it, which I guess you have to wash it
You need to
first.
wash. Yeah, you need to wash your
Okay.
rice.
Okay, so she didn't wash the rice and she put it in there and then she filled it up with like all the water, which I have done, so I can't throw shade. But
Yeah.
then after she was done cooking the rice,
Did she
which
strain
was
it?
she strained it and then she washed it.
Weird.
And I was like,
Oh, that's weird.
what are you
She
doing?
did it backwards.
Yeah, and the guy who was reviewing it, he was like, the whole joke is, that he has like
Yeah.
I mean, he is like Asian, but he does like an over
Is it
exaggerated,
Uncle
like,
Charlie?
yes, it
I
is.
love him.
And I was just cracking up because he's like, what's she doing? And I'm like,
Right.
I'm even wondering, and I apparently have been doing rice wrong. So,
Yeah,
oh,
I
it
love
was,
Uncle Charlie.
oh, it was so
He cracks me up. But yeah, you're supposed to wash your rice. That's a thing, kids. If you don't know that yet, now you do. Wash your rice first. I actually soak my rice for a little bit too before I start it.
Yeah, I mean, I just learned that I had to do this, so you're never too old to learn that you
You're
have
never
been
too old.
messing up.
But yeah, you can get like a really basic rice cooker for like 20 bucks.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I really want to do that.
I would recommend just getting one of those, and you can cook a lot of different stuff in it. Like a
Yeah.
lot of different stuff. I have a fancy one because I finally got a fancy one after using like a $20 one for like 10 years. I was like, I deserve this. So I
Right?
got a fancy one that I can use. It even has like layers to where I can like steam things while I'm cooking my rice. So like I can cook my entire meal in my rice cooker, just set it up and
Nice.
not worry about it.
Nice.
It's life.
That's so good. I love that. I love that for you, but everyone should have fluffy rice, fluffy good
Yeah,
rice.
good rice. Good rice.
Good rice. Don't eat my rice. I'm still figuring out how to not fuck up, okay? Like I'm learning here. I don't like to cook. Anyway, so um Hachi is still freaking out. She's like, "I've got rice, but I've got no veggies." So and then she's at the store and here's where like all the numbers start to come in. She's like, "Okay, I can do this. Payday is on the 26th. I don't touch anything in the store. I have about 70,000 yen. I don't know what that is in US dollars."
$700 is wait 70,000 7
Yeah,
700 $700.
700. Okay, so 700 and she's like, "But then there's my um was that 10,000 cell phone bill?"
So
Which I guess
$100.
okay. And then she's like, "So that leaves me with 600 essentially."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Okay, that should cover the
That
rest of it."
that that could cover her for a month if she just didn't buy anything.
Right? But
Because her rent is 350.
yeah, yeah, that would cover the things. But here's like the I don't know, I guess the interesting part. So if that would cover all of the things, why is her go-to I'm just gonna not eat? Because that's like that's her logical step, you
Right.
know?
I mean, okay, so like because she's also so in mine it also explains like she's got gas and heat expenses that are split in half.
Hmm.
Um, and so like it says that her 600 yen is enough to cover her rent and her bills.
Yeah,
And then the 100 for the phone, right? So that means she
right.
wouldn't have any money for food,
Oh, okay.
right? But she has that $20, but she also doesn't know how to live.
True,
Like this is her first time. And
true.
it's becoming more and more apparent that like her parents never taught her
Hmm.
how to budget
True.
because she's just excited. She's just excited, right?
Hmm.
She's just excited and like um and so like in mine it also when her eyes are closed, that panel, right?
Yeah.
It points and it says fake lashes.
Yep. Mine has that too, and I'm just like, I don't know why they pointed that out, but
Random, but also fake lashes cost money.
oh, they're like, look at this
Uh-huh.
bougie bitch. She
Right.
spent money on eyelashes.
Right. So like she comes to the conclusion she won't have any extra money left. And so she won't have anything without paying her ordinary expenses.
Hmm.
And so she's sad and scared. And this
Yeah.
is when Mizukoshi tells her to go to lunch and she's like, "It's okay, I'm skipping lunch."
Yeah, and he's like, but why? And she's like, I thought I'd go on a diet. Good one. You
And
know,
then
like it,
he's like, no wonder you seem down. No wonder you're not your normal self.
right?
But in
Yeah.
reality, she's just stressing out.
Yeah, yeah, she's just personally I do actually like the scenes with Hachi where she's just kind of like in her head like whatever job
Hmm.
she has because it's just so relatable. It's
Right. She's figuring it out. Like she's
yeah.
just yeah, and I think that it is really really relatable to when we work, we're getting paid to be the person there, but that's
Yeah.
not who we are.
No. No, not really.
Like we put ourself inside of ourselves,
Hmm.
right? And we put on like the work mask.
Yes. Yes, we have to do that because it's like what's under it? Horror movies and anime.
Right. You
Uh,
don't want to know. You
yeah,
really
like no.
don't.
and too much information about like lots of books and a lot of like random facts that those are
Right.
gonna be
I'm
terrifying.
psychoanalyzing literally everyone and trying to figure out their astrological chart in my head on a constant.
Yeah, and I know just like a lot of weird facts that I think are really super cool, but most people are like, that's like awful. And I'm like, I know, isn't that awful?
Right. No, like, yeah, same. Same. And I have, like, when
Oh,
I'm
good.
like working in public, I have to work so hard not to info dump.
Right? I do that
I have
too.
to remind myself nobody cares about this but me.
Yeah, that's actually really difficult. It's really hard. But I know this thing and I want to share. I want to share this thing with you because it's cool.
So
But anyway,
Mizukoshi is like, I guess this is a bad time. I wanted to have dinner with you, and now Nana is excited for food
yep.
after she just said that she was going on a diet to him, and he's like, "What?"
Yeah, he's like, What?" She's like, "Oops." But then he just plays it off. You know, he's like, "You're so funny." Essentially, he's
Yeah,
just like, "Oh, you're so funny." Like, okay, let's close up early, and we're gonna go eat. Start thinking about where you want to go. And she's like, and now she's thinking to herself, like, okay, it's just dinner. He's just a really friendly boss. Going to eat with him isn't like cheating, right?
right. No, she automatically gets into her head that, oh, you know what I mean? Like she
Yeah.
jumps to he's interested in me.
Yep. Yep.
Like that's just where her head goes.
Hmm.
Um, and like it's interesting because like no, but um, it's also as women we kind of think that way, and it's really sad.
Oh, you mean just like the automatic assumption that
Like, are
they're
they interested? You know what I mean? Like, when it comes to like heteronormative like situations, I wouldn't say. I don't know. I think if it's a boss situation, it's its own thing, and I probably wouldn't think that.
yeah.
Right. But if it's outside of the boss situation, like, oh, are we okay? Can we just be friends? You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I do.
I've
Okay,
also
man.
let down a lot of men in my life
I
and
mean
not
that,
even known
yeah.
that they were interested in me for years sometimes.
I mean that's fair. Okay, so this is like weird. This is just my take being in a woman flesh, this go around. But I never really thought that because I had a couple of coworkers back when I had my desk job, and
Mhm.
a couple of them like would come down and talk to me, and they asked me out to like, lunch. They're like, we should just go to lunch, and I was like,
Yeah.
cool. And one of the guys was like, he was super chill, and we could just like talk. He got really mad that I didn't like Pulp Fiction, but that's like a different thing. But it was so funny. He's just like, how dare you? But anyway, but the other guy, like um,
It's
I
weird.
had no, it was bad. But I never thought like we were just
Right.
having conversations and talking, and I was
Right.
like,
I think that it's
okay,
learned though. Like that's something I learned over time.
yeah, oh,
And now
yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
cautious.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I guess I could say that I am too, because it was weird. I was like, I thought we were just like discussing things, and I eventually had to go to my boss and be like, so we were at lunch, and all we were doing, I thought we were just talking about sex, but apparently
Right.
for him, it was like, oh, you want to have like a sneaky, sneaky relationship behind our partner's
Weird.
backs. And I was
But see,
like,
that's what
what?
I
No.
mean is we shouldn't even have to consider to think about that ahead of time. And like that's something that
Yeah.
has to be learned. You know what I mean? And so now you'll never think about it differently than that situation. You'll
Yeah.
ask that question.
Yeah. It's always in the back of my head, but not like the way I feel like Hachi and
It's
okay.
that's why it's different though, is because like she
Yeah.
also wants to be desired.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like Hachi for me always feels like mm, and I have known people, like
Yes,
this in the
same.
past. It's like, yeah, like everybody, they just love me. I don't know what
Right.
it is about me, and I'm like, oh,
Right.
no, girl, I don't know.
No, for sure. Right. I get
So,
that. But like it's also learned in a lot of different ways. Like having to ask the question, is it considered unfaithful? She's mentioning him as a man and not as her boss,
oh yeah, but yeah, that is a question. Yeah,
right?
it is.
And so just it brings up like a whole can of worms in that socially, right?
Yeah, it does. I mean, my first thought was like, no, it doesn't, Hachi. But then I'm just like, but if he makes a move,
Right. Or if she makes a move, or if she
or
has feelings though, because like she has a crush on everybody.
Yes.
Everyone.
Everybody.
So then we pan to Kyosuke, and he's like sitting and studying on campus. And here is Shoji and Sachiko.
Mm. And he's watching them like interact, and
Well, he notices them and he's like, huh?
yeah, he does, but oh,
And
I
he whacks him.
yeah, he like hits him with his sketchbook. um which to me, I read this as like it took him 30 seconds to watch their interaction and go,
Yeah, it took a
"What are you
little bit.
doing?"
Yeah, it took like he noticed and then he's like, "Wait a second.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
going on here?" Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And then he was just like, "Yo, dude." And then we get this just super cute shot of Sachiko looking up at him like,
She's
"Huh?"
so cute.
She's so cute, even though I hate that hat, but she's
I hate
so
that
cute.
outfit. I
Oh,
don't like the outfit. The whole outfit can go.
no, that's that. Yeah,
Um
I agree.
yeah, I'm not a fan. I mean, it would be better without the hat. The hat doesn't
Fair.
help, right?
Yeah, for those who
But the
can't
hat makes the
see,
outfit and I don't like the outfit.
I don't like it. No, she's essentially wearing like cowboy chic. It's stupid.
It's like eclectic cowboy chic.
yeah, it's a choice.
It's a choice. It's a choice.
So Sachiko, she like runs off to go get like drink stuff,
Yeah,
and in like the 30 seconds or whatever she's gone, Shoji has like explained kind of what's up, and Kyosuke's like, okay, I see what's going on. He's like, yeah, it's kind of crazy right now, and Kyosuke is like, okay, like same restaurant, same school, same major, um, you two
right.
seem to get along, and Shoji's like, yeah, and he's just, I don't know, talking about how Sachiko tested and like right away and saying that
Right.
she's like younger,
Right. And
and
then Kyosuke's like, Sachiko? Because they've all heard about Sachiko.
yeah, they've all heard about this not no longer fantasy person because thanks, Demon Lord.
But the Demon Lord also got Hachi dinner.
He did.
Right.
He did.
See?
You are the blessed one. You're the
She was worried that
Hachi.
she was going to starve to death, and then she gets free dinner.
Yeah,
So,
it's a good thing.
balance.
Yeah, Hachi's like Jesus. She's just
She's charmed.
his charm. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Shoji's like just
yeah, he's awkward about it. He's so awkward. He's so awkward.
he knows.
He knows. He knows.
He
And
knows.
like you see that she seems like your type. Short, fair complexion. I guess it can't be helped.
Yeah, he just like plays it off. He just like and but Shoji's just like, no, no, it's not like that. That's not like what this is about. And Kyosuke's like, oh, really? Like using self-control? All right,
Right. Yeah,
cool.
mine says, you know I admire you. If I were in your position, I wouldn't last long. Which
Hmm.
like it will like also though, like Kyosuke's his friend first, right?
Yeah.
But he like June and Kyosuke are totally the parent tropes.
Yeah.
And so like he's the non-judgmental dad right now.
Yeah. That's facts.
Um and like we already know like from when Kyosuke met Nana and was like, yeah, she's totally my type, right?
Hmm.
And it's like I have to stay away from her because he knows.
Yeah,
And
he
so
does.
like that's very much what he's saying to Shoji
Yeah.
is he's admitting the brutal honesty.
Hmm. But she's coming back now. She's clip-clopping because she's wearing these heels, which will come back to play
Yeah, we'll
later.
come back to.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. But like, and she's like, "Okay, here you go." And you're like, "Is coffee all right, Shoji?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, you're so sweet." And she's got one for Kyosuke too. He's like, "Do you want one too, Mr.
Mr. Q.
Kyosuke?" And he's like, "You can just call me Kyosuke, Sachiko." And she just smiles at him, and I I have this interesting read on this look
Yeah,
because he smiles back at her, but I read that as, oh, Shoji is so screwed.
fucked.
Yeah,
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 absolutely. Well, and like also in the anime though, the way that he says you could just call me Kyosuke, Sachiko, and like looks at
oh,
her, right? Because like he's like, oh, this is. I think like I here's the thing. I think that deep down Kyosuke loves like the weird little drama.
Oh yeah.
Like in its own right, because he's just like, oh, like the tea is brewing.
Right.
Because Shoji is screwed.
Oh
And he
yeah.
knows it.
Mm-hmm.
He knows it.
He does know. And now, so now he's in the classroom sitting next to June, and he's obviously divulged all of his little tea brewing to her. And he's like, okay, this is bad. And June's like, but why? And he's like, well, if you ask me, a giant dark-skinned girl like you is my type, but and I'm like, oh, Kyosuke, don't be like that. Don't.
See, they say Genguro.
Oh, yeah.
Let me look that up really quick for the translation. I don't remember.
I
I
have
have words.
oh yeah. I mean, I have like I
So
have a.
okay, so I did remember correctly. Genguru is a type
Mhm.
of fashion in the mid 90s.
Mhm.
And we still see it in like England today with the really tan blonde girls.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like the really like the ones that in some groups we talk about blackfishing,
Mhm.
right? But it was also like it was in the mid 90s a Japanese like female style.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. You could see it in like fruits and like different street style magazines through the 90s and early 2000s.
Oh, okay,
Um,
cause this so Junko actually isn't Juko, at least like in the anime, she
she
is.
is of darker complexion. It's also because she comes from a farming family. She's working
Oh,
class.
okay.
So
Okay,
like that
interesting.
is its own take and like that's its own take culturally and historically.
Mm,
And where a lot of like pale fetishism comes from.
yeah.
Means that you
I
don't
don't
work
know.
outside.
Yeah, I'll have to think about that because
Put a
like
pin in it. Yeah.
yeah, because I always read June as a
Same.
BIPOC woman. So,
Oh, see, no, she's Japanese for sure. But I would say that she does have darker skin.
okay, I thought she was like half. So I was just like, "Oh, cool. Like we
Yeah,
have
no,
a
I always read it that she's like she's tanner because she comes from a farming family. She works outside.
Oh, interesting.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Hmm. I'm gonna think about it more. I'm gonna think
Yeah,
about it more. Um, but
but she
she's
could
just
also
like,
like, I mean, in that theory and headcanon, she could also be like of indigeneity to Japan because
yeah,
she doesn't
and
live in the city.
yeah, because I don't know. Have you ever read Peach Girl?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's that style though. That's that same fashion style.
Okay, because like
Mhm.
I didn't get to read all of it, but I got the first manga because I remember it's just nostalgic. So I was
Yeah,
just like, okay,
no, I
this
get
thing.
it.
But I was like, okay, well, in there are some definite like
Oh, absolutely.
there's
That's
racism.
also the 90s, right?
Yeah, yeah, there's
Yeah, I haven't read it like I haven't read it. Oh God, since then,
since that yeah, yeah,
since like the late 90s, early 2000s.
it tracks so differently because it's just like
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, I'm
I'm
sure.
like, oh, there's the racism. Oh, the
Yeah, yeah,
dang.
for sure. No, it's a thing.
Um, yeah,
It's a thing.
it's a thing.
And like it also depends on like again, I guess this goes back to like an off recording conversation, but regional differences in how we view race and more so than race melanin in this particular conversation.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So June's just like, well, excuse me for being my authentic self. And then Yosuke doesn't even acknowledge that. And he's just like, but I even thought she was cute and charming. So that's
Right.
really bad.
Right.
It's
No, it's still
bad.
an insult and it's still not okay because like the thing
No.
is though is she's has a naturally darker complexion and
Yeah.
he referenced it as a fashion style.
Oh, and that's interesting too because because yeah, that's your yeah, because your translation is fashion style, whereas mine is I'm gonna say
Yeah.
bordering just on cringe because he's just like a giant dark skinned girl like you, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
No,
Kyosuke,
like mine
no.
says tall, skinny Gengaro girl and Gengaro is in quotes because it's a fashion style.
Well, either way, it's not a good look.
No. No, it's not. No, it's really not. and it's a big another can of worms.
It is. I'm just like, no, Kyosuke, no. We like you.
Right?
Don't be like
You're
this.
in trouble. But then he like goes back to like the Sachiko thing. And
Right.
so like here it says Gangaro is slang for girls who wear a lot of makeup. But I also know though from like street fashion that a lot of makeup is generally very tan. And then like
Mm-hmm.
tan, but like so like Nana's little sister is that
Yeah.
fashion style.
Yep.
Like to a T.
Yep.
Right? So it's like the cutesy pink, like uh 80s-ish hair, like the ponytail style 80s hair. I mean like the straight 80s hair. And then
Yeah.
like the makeup, like the lip and the eye makeup is like white or like a lighter color,
Mm-hmm.
right? Bright, like light pale pink lips, like white eyeshadow, like that type of thing.
Yeah. Just insanity, man.
But Kyosuke like goes back to the subject at hand,
Yeah. He's just
probably
like,
for his
oh,
own safety.
yeah. No, really. He's kind of got like a little bit of like the sweat drop, like, oh, I think I screwed up,
Uh-huh.
but
Yeah,
let's.
he messed up. He messed up. He
He
did.
messed up. He did.
And he says even by my standards, that Sachiko is a very that Sachiko girl is very cute. Believe me, this won't end happily.
Mm-hmm. Prophetic.
But like he's also showing like how he like this is also that difference of how he was being supportive of Shoji,
Yeah.
and then um this goes into like this whole thing of how I'm actually mad at June for the Sachiko situation,
Mm.
right?
Does it start
Because
here?
it starts here, right? Because this is when she finds out about Sachiko,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it is concerning. And Kyosuke even expresses that it's concerning. And of course, he's going to support his friend. And of course, he's going to support his friend in this particular scenario because him and Nana don't ever see each other and have really bad communication. So they're not in a healthy
True.
relationship, right?
No.
And Shoji is his friend first, not
Yeah.
Nana. So
Yeah.
he's going to, of course, support his friend to be in a happy, healthy scenario.
I mean, that's what we all want as friends.
That's all what we all want. So where's June in that? Right? And we'll get there.
She's Nana's friend first.
Exactly.
I get you.
Right? But she's not being Nana's friend.
Mm, I don't know if we should like get into it like I
Not
like.
yet. Not but
Okay.
I'm just making that
Okay.
statement. I'm just making
Okay.
she's not.
I will try to remember this part because I do I have a theory as to why she might not be her
Right.
friend right
Okay.
now.
No,
But I'll
I get that.
later.
I get that too. Yep.
um
So then we cut into Nana.
yes.
Nana O. Not Hachi.
Yeah. Just Nana and she's looking kind of sad.
Sad. She's sitting at
Sad.
the drums and she's
Yeah,
sad.
yeah, she's at the practice room and she's at the drums and then she I don't know, just like plays on the drums a little bit.
Yeah.
Nothing like crazy, but kind of cool. And then, she's like hitting the cymbals like ching and then she's just sad.
Well, she does
Just
play like a full drum roll out in the anime.
yeah, isn't it that
Yeah.
like do
Yeah, it's just like a basic one for sure, but
Yeah.
it's still something. Like I can't do that.
Yeah, I can't do that either.
But
Love
she looks
to.
like very like melancholic, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
That's actually
Yeah.
a really good panel. I want to do some embroideries from the manga, and that's a really good
Oh,
panel for an embroidery, I think.
oh, that'd be so
Wouldn't that
cool.
be so pretty?
Yeah, that'd be super pretty. Should do that. Do
I
it.
should.
I love
I
it.
should. I have a few saved, but I really like that one.
That's a good one. And then here's Shin. Shin heard her doing all of that awesome rat-a-tat-tatting, and he's so blown away. He's like, "Oh, that's just
Right?
so
It's so good.
awesome."
He thinks she's so cool. Well, she is so cool, but
She
like,
is so cool. And I think he's wearing Nobu's outfit. I think he's
right,
just wearing he's wearing all the things.
right. He's wearing all the things, like all the things, and he kind of it's very Vivian Westwood.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And
Because it's the tartan pants and hat and tie.
Yeah.
kind of like a punk rock schoolboy outfit.
Yep. Which is Tommy Boys. I think that's what they were called in the UK.
Yeah.
Like that kind of look.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, he's doing that, and I almost wondered if like this is the moment because as we'll see, like but like later, like Shin really starts to like jump headfirst into the punk look. Just
Right.
wee.
Well, like I
Um,
feel like he's also of the age where you are like cuz he's 16. We don't know he's 16, but like at 16, like 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, that age area um post that Saturn square. But
mhm.
it's the defining of self,
Yeah.
right? And he's exactly at that age where you start to really like start to identify with your interests and your image, your aesthetic, like things like that
Hmm.
in that maturity.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
He's super cute. Yeah, he's so cute. But Nana's like, oh, she's like, oh, Shin, I didn't know you were there. What's with that outfit, poser? But he's like, no, it's so cool that you also play the drums. And she's like, no, no, not really. He's like, no, but you were just playing. And she's, nah, that's all I can do. That's it. Um, but he's like, well, that's really good. When did you learn? And she said, it's when I was in my band back home. I just picked it up for fun. And then Shin asks if it was from Yasu, and Nana's like, wait, how do you even know about Yasu? And Shin's like, well, Nobu got drunk and he just
Nobu
yammers
talks a
on
lot
about
when he's drunk. He
yeah
talks a lot when he's
he
drunk.
yeah he's like he always yammering on about Yasu and just going off about him, I wish Yasu was here, blah blah blah, all that stuff. And then Nana asks him, did you crash at his place, like, and also are you wearing his clothes?
And like for me, it asks if he's still living at Nobu's.
That's like so fast,
It's
hasn't
been
it
a
only.
month.
Oh, that's right. It's been a month. That's been a month.
It's
Right.
been a month.
Yazawa
Yeah.
time has got me in its grip. So,
Yeah, it's been a month now
okay, that's fine.
because we're at rent day. We're working towards rent day. So it's probably like 3.5 weeks.
Okay, that's fine.
But it said a month. It said a month in like one of those first panels. So
Oh,
we're at
okay.
it like a month
Mm-hmm.
and what? A month and a week, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
since they've been in Tokyo.
Yeah. Okay. That's at least we're on somewhat of an even keel now instead of like it's been 4 days.
It's been 3 hours.
It's been 3 hours. It's what is it? No, okay. So it's been a good chunk of time. Um, And then Nana just tells him like you should really go home sometime. Don't your parents worry? And Shin just deadpans and he's like, doubt it. And
See, like for me, it says, wouldn't it be better if you went back home from time to time? Won't your
mm,
parents worry? And he's like, I don't think so.
yeah. But he's
um,
like just that delivery though of just like, no, just no, there's no other answer. Just no, they
right.
don't care. And I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah. And then Nana's like, she looked kind of concerned. And then she's like, do whatever you want. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, she's just like,
because she
oh,
is
really?
concerned, but she's not going to. She doesn't like people to fish into her
Yeah.
life. And so she doesn't do it to other people.
Hmm.
Right. Like,
But also, she's kind of like lived this experience too,
no,
so
absolutely. Absolutely, she
yeah.
has. So, like, that's also another part of it. But I think, like, so much of a testament to Nana is she likes her secrets. She likes
Hmm.
her private life very private. And so, in turn, she respects the privacy of other people and doesn't pry.
Yeah.
She's like, what you'll share with me, you'll share with me.
Hmm. Unlike Hachi,
Right. Well,
which
they're
is
opposites, they're mirror imaged.
yeah, which is saying something. Well, I mean, because that's where I identify with Hachi. Because I just want to know. I'm like, I want to know. I want to know. Like,
Right.
why are you sad? Why
Right.
do
Well,
you?
and that, yeah, that's fair. Like, I get it. But at the same time, it's like she's sad when she thinks no one's looking,
Yeah.
right? She's not outwardly sad,
No. It's like
right?
secret sad.
So, like, yeah, exactly. So, like, unless you notice the nuance of her sadness, you don't have any idea that she's sad.
Hmm.
And
And
we get to see
he
that because we live in the fourth wall.
we do. But
Yeah,
also like I wonder if Shin kind of sees it here
he
because
does. He
yeah, he's
does.
like
And he says, you're really weird, Nana. Any other person would have said, no, Shen. I'm sure your parents are really worried about you.
hmm
And I think it's this statement true, but in the real world, there are even parents who abandon their children, and the look on Shin's face, like, yeah, okay,
Yeah. Yeah, in mine she's like, "Well, I know there really are parents who don't care about their kids."
hmm
And I'm
hmm
like, "Oh."
yeah, it's tough, and they have a lot in common,
hmm
right?
Yeah, and that's again, the like we've mentioned before, like Nobu's the only person in the band who doesn't have like severe parental trauma.
Right, right. Which he has his own parental trauma from his situation because he doesn't want the
Yeah.
life. You know what I mean?
hmm
Like he has privilege, but he doesn't want the privilege.
Yeah, like rejection of like maybe I just don't want it.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So then we pan though to dinner.
Dinner.
We make our way
Yum.
back to Hachi.
hmm And
Full
Mr.
circle.
Mizakashi.
Yeah.
And they're talking about Shen. And he's saying like, "Oh, okay, so he's in middle school. That kid that came by the store the other day to join the band, like, but I thought he was 18." And at least in my translation, Hachi's like, yeah, but he's actually 15."
I thought he was 16. Yeah, he's 15. Oh, he
Yeah,
turns
he's
16 shortly. That's right.
oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it does say, yeah, he's actually 15. Nana questioned it, questioned him a lot until he confessed. He was
Yeah.
worried that he'd be rejected.
Because he was young. Now, here's something interesting that I was thinking of while I was reading this section. Like, Hachi is surprisingly like calm and relaxed when she's talking to Misakashi about
Yeah,
this. Like, she's not freaking out. She's not like,
right.
she's just hanging out and being like, I mean,
He doesn't expect anything from her.
that's true. That's true.
He doesn't expect anything from her. They also work together all day.
That's true. I just thought it was nice because normally
Yeah, it
she's like,
is.
oh,
Normally
there's
she's
a
freaking
man.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like,
But
because he's
like
still a guy. Then she like freaks
he
out with
doesn't
men.
actually expect anything from her. So even if she thinks that in her like weird little head thoughts that she creates, it's the energy of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so he's not making her feel away.
True. Which kind of makes me sad because I'm like, look, you have the ability to just like exist in the space with another person and it's
Exactly. Right.
fine.
Yeah, exactly. Um but yeah, they're still talking about Shin and that he's almost done with high school. And that he doesn't want to go to high school.
Mm-hmm.
Yada, like the Shin story, right?
Yeah.
And he's not interested in high school, which
Mm-mm.
is fine because I mean also it's a little different. It's a little different overseas in general when it comes to like high school and high school being more of an option than it is in the States.
Yeah.
Um which is like its
Um,
own thing.
yeah. And here in like the next panel, we actually have an interesting, like, how Nana was just like, well, do what you want, because, asking about the parents. Hachi's the one that's like, I bet his parents are actually worried.
Right, because she has parents who care about her.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, back on point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that the reason though that she believes that there's concern there is because she has parents.
Yeah. That that care and worry and all that stuff.
Right, and that did more than just keeping her alive.
hmm So and she's just like Hachi's sad. She's like, but we don't have a drummer. It's hard. And Mr. Mizukashi's like, but I thought someone like, didn't you say someone tried out? And she's like, yeah, but Nana didn't like him, so she threw him out. I don't I'm like, oh dang. I bet we don't get to see that happen, and I kind of want to see that happen. Um,
Right? Right? Why didn't we get to see that?
I mean,
We didn't need to be introduced to another character, that's why.
yeah, that's true. But
He could have been faceless. It could have been fine.
mhm. But Nana was like,
Um
no, no, goodbye. So,
No, but then she goes, I love this. The truth is Nana is in love with Yasu.
She does. She's like, yeah, I still think that she likes him, and that's why she doesn't want any other drummers.
Right, right. And Misako, she's like, Yasu?
Yeah, he's like, who's that? She's like, oh, he's just this drummer from their band back home. He's a skinhead lawyer, totally not his type.
Oh, see, mine says, he's a baldy who seems perfect for her.
Close enough. And Mr. Mizukashi thinks that's very funny. He's like, duh,
Right?
they
It's
sound
because
perfect.
she is actually hilarious. Because the
True.
world that she lives in is not anybody else's world.
That's true. I think I would also find Hachi very funny. Just like,
Right?
you're ridiculous. I love you.
Right. No, but that's it. Like, she lives in her own little multiverse.
It's true. I love it. And then she's asking him, like we're moving on from that conversation and she's just like, "Can I have more food? Can I get more potato like soup?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And then they are done eating and she's so happy. Hachi's so happy because
She's
she's
full.
full. She's full. She's
Yeah.
so
And he's like,
full.
I'm glad. And then he's like, you're not disappointed by eating at a tavern? And she's like, I love taverns.
And she's like, yeah, she's like waving her arms around, and I guess that's why she like runs into a pole that
Yeah, she
comes
like
out of
falls
nowhere.
into a pole. And like, I wish I could say I haven't done that, but I have. I have my Hachi moments, okay? But when I get excited, the rest of the world disappears. It doesn't
Oh,
happen
that's fair.
often, but it happens. Um,
And
so
he's
yeah.
worried. He's like,
Yeah,
"Oh
he's worried and he like touches her head and she's like nervous. She's like, I think I had too much to drink, and then it pans it on his face and it pans on her nervous face and she freaks out.
no." Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, I gotta go because this is a bad idea because he's like touching me and he's super cute and I gotta go." And he's like, "No, no, 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 wait!" And he grabs her wrist
Arm.
to stop her.
Yeah.
Yeah, her arm like to stop her, and she's still blushing. And he's like, "Okay, like the reason I took you out was because I wanted to tell you something." And he's not elaborating. And in her mind, she's like, "What?"
Yeah, she's like back to those other thoughts of oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, he likes me.
Yeah, and she but here's okay, we'll get there. He's just like, "Okay, I'm in a bind and I wasn't sure when would be a good time or how to tell you." And she's like, "What? Like what?" And he's like, "I'm sorry if this is comes as a surprise as you." She's like, "No, no, no, not so fast. This isn't good." And he's like, "I know this is gonna suck for you." And then she's all like, "Mr. Mizukashii." And I'm just like, "You want him to profess his love."
Totally not what mine says at all.
Oh, interesting. How does this discourse go on your side?
So it says, actually, I've asked you out today because I need to speak with you. And she's like, huh? No, wait a minute. And he says, I've been thinking about how to say this for a while, but in the end, I've never found a way to bring up the subject. This might startle you a bit. I know this may be troubling to listen to, but, and then in her head, she's like, no way. And she's like, not, and all she says is no way, right? And he says, Nana, you see, the truth is I'm actually about to close the store. Like there's
Yeah, but
none of like the weird, like lusty things. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, mine's totally just like it totally feeds into that headcanon you have of like she just wants a dramatic life. She wants her
Right.
boss to like profess his undying love for her, an ode to her beauty.
Right. I mean, like I would say that the drawn panels can give you that all by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But she's not thinking that. She's like kind of confused.
Oh, and that total, oh, that reminds me, there's a section I think that I missed like in the, oh, when she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go on a diet,"
Hmm.
and he just kind of laughs it off. In her head, she's like, "So I guess you're not going to say I'm already perfect the way I am?" And I'm like,
Oh, good. It did not say that
Hachi.
in mine. It did not say that in mine at all.
Oh, totally didn't mind. And I'm just like, Hachi, don't be a compliment fisher.
Right? So then he says, "Forgive me. I know it's sad, but," and then she's like, "Now I'm really in trouble."
Yeah, and mine just says, "This
And she's
sucks."
crying.
And
So
she's
take a
crying.
shot.
So take a shot.
And then on the other side, we see a shoe flying in the air.
Yeah, yeah. Goodbye, shoe.
Weird. Like, okay, so like the shoes with the cowboy outfit, I feel like the shoes are all supposed to be like pseudo cowboy, like weird strappy heels.
Are they?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like they're supposed to have like a country vibe with like the thick stitching and the shape of the bandy thing.
Oh, yeah, it's probably suede. Like the top
Right?
is
That's
probably
I
suede.
imagine it brown. I think it's brown in the anime too, but I imagine it brown anyway.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, she like now we pan to Shoji and Sachiko, and she loses her shoe running to the subway.
Mm-hmm. She's like, oh no, my shoe. And Shoji turns around, he's like, what? And she's like, I lost my shoe. Just go on without me. And he's like, but, and she turns around and go get her shoe. And
Mm-hmm.
she picks up the shoe, and then we hear like there's like a slam as like the doors to the
Yeah,
train slide
they
home.
close,
And she
and
turns
she
around.
turns around, and Shoji is sitting there sad.
You think he's sad?
I think he's like fuck.
Oh. Why? Okay, like, but what? Why? Why fuck
Because he
specifically?
likes her on top of not wanting to leave a girl in the subway. Because it's both and,
Oh. Oh, okay. I get it.
right? It's both and.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. And he's so he just straight up asked her like, okay, why do you wear those shoes? Like, you know we have to run to catch the last train, and
Yeah, he calls her out.
yeah, he does. And Sachiko blushes, and here is where like I have seen a lot of hate from Sachiko arise from this specific scene.
Yeah, that makes sense. If there's gonna be hate against Sachiko, it's from this scene.
Oh, I mean, I guess I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, no, you gotta know. You got.
Right, but she did it, but she doesn't know at this point. She doesn't know anything about Nana at this point, unless Shoji has said something. Because Kyosuke didn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
So Shoji hasn't said anything.
No, no, he hasn't. So
Right.
she takes like a deep
And
breath.
so she doesn't know.
No, she doesn't know, and that's why I'm like, well, as someone who spent a good majority of her life not knowing if the feelings that I had for people were
Yeah, same.
reciprocated,
Yep,
yeah,
same.
I'm like, get it, girl. You dropped
Right.
that shoe.
Right.
You,
You drop that shoe. And then she's like, what if I did it on purpose? And he's like, and
yeah,
then
and
his
he's like,
phone rings.
is blushing for days,
Right. Because he
and then
doesn't know how to react or respond or anything, you know, and like he's he's being the dumb one.
no, he really.
Don't blame Sachiko.
Don't blame Sachiko. She doesn't know.
She
And then
doesn't know, okay? She doesn't know at this point.
yeah, and then the phone rings, and like his face when he sees Nana's
Uh-huh.
name, it's so like when he says yeah, in my head it's very much it's not it's like what?
Oh yeah, even in the anime, like he is not saying it like a nice boyfriend.
Right.
He's saying it like nonchalantly.
Like yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
just
"Hello,"
mhm.
right? And then it's Nana crying.
It's not great. And she is like
She
she's
is
like, "Oh,
crying.
it's ugly crying. It is ugly
It's full on
crying."
meltdown. It's full on
Yeah.
meltdown crying because she did like okay, even though she's been spending her money very, very poorly, we know this. She did love that job. That is a perfect job for her.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Yeah.
So like, you know, that sucks. And it's her like first job in Tokyo too.
hmm
She
And
doesn't
she
have anything to fall back on.
nope, she had it for a month, and that sucks.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think she's sitting outside of his door. She's like, help. She's
Yeah.
sitting outside of his door, and then we pan back to Shoji and Sachiko. And he's like, okay, here's money for the cab. And she's like, don't worry, it's on the way. And he's like, no, but it's my fault that we missed the last train. And she's like, no, it's cool. And then now
Yep.
Sachiko knows.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And she's like, you said you had a girlfriend, right? And that she won't accept favors from men who are already involved.
that's like her calling him out.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
mhm.
And then she
And
cries.
yeah, of course she
Well, she has
cries.
feels.
I know. And then she's trying to like play it off. She's like, well, good night. And like honestly, the panel of Sachiko crying like just
It's
hurts me.
so, yeah.
So it hurts me
Right. And I
so
don't understand how
much.
people can have hate towards that. She just learned it.
Yeah, I
She laid
know.
a boundary here. Now, later, we could discuss. But like
Mm.
it's
Oh,
just
no, we're gonna get into it with that because
yeah.
again, okay, so I have been in Sachiko's position. I have
Mhm.
been the like you you didn't know and then all of a sudden you know and it
Right.
hurts. It hurts
Right.
so bad. And
Yeah.
because the person they knew, they decided they weren't going to tell you.
Yeah, they decided that they didn't care.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
And yeah, it's so painful. So in this panel, I'm like, yep, been there. I've been 16 and I know this exact feeling and I am not going to hate Sachiko for having this reaction.
No, absolutely not. Like it's this isn't a Sachiko thing. This is a Shoji thing.
This shoji thing. Which I would be interested to know, like, how does Nathan feel about that situation? Because I know he was like, but I like shoji. I'm like, how do you feel about this part?
I mean, I can ask him about it. I think that if I don't know, I can ask him about it. I know that my opinion is Shoji wouldn't be even interested in Sachiko in the way that he has been if Nana was showing up as a girlfriend.
I mean, I guess so. I think that him and Sachiko are more compatible.
I do too, but it would have taken longer. It would have been different. It wouldn't have played out this way.
Fair.
It wouldn't have. Because Nana would be more active in the time that Shoji has.
But also, we want shoji to go away.
We do. Well, we want Shoji to be with Sachiko because everybody deserves to be happy.
Yes, that too. Not full on hate, just you need to be
Yeah.
happy. Please be
Right.
happy.
Yeah, for sure. They're at similar places in life. In
Hmm.
general, they're able to
Yeah.
see each other
Yeah. And that's
because they're
big.
living the same life.
Hmm. That's huge.
Right? It's huge. It's so big. So now Nana is in Shoshi's apartment and he's like, "This is all the money that I have."
Yeah, I just got all
And
this
she's
money
like,
on the
"How
table.
can this be? You've been working for months." Um
And then, but she's also like, no, you really are spending it on Sachiko. And now he's like,
and he's like, "You're wrong because not Hachi does not know about the real life Sachiko.
nope, nope. And he's
Nobody
like,
has told her.
nope.
Nobody has told her. It's been a whole other day, and June has said nothing."
Fair. And well, now he's got something to be legitimately worried about. Like, no.
Yeah, he does. He has something actually to worry about. And he should have told her out the gate.
Yep. But they're, again,
But
they're
they also
young.
don't talk and they don't see
Nope.
each other.
Nope. And
So
yeah.
he says he bought this computer
Hmm.
with his money that he was saving because he does need it.
Yes. And he's pretty smug about it too. He's just like, yeah, pretty sweet, hun. I'm a cool dude, graphic design major. And I'm like, oh, Shoji, no one's ever gonna make money off graphic design again.
They did then.
I know. I'm
They
the
did
only
then. Now
okay.
it's a minimum wage job, but they did
I
then because this
I
is like
know,
the late 90s, early 2000s.
I know, but here's why I say that is because one of my girlfriends did go for graphic design. We graduated like 2008
Yeah.
and no one
Oh, this
was
is years later.
making. I
That's year
know.
like this is years before. So like this is still a time where I mean, we were just in like the dot com boom.
Oh, I know. Like I was just
Yeah.
I was just
And like
giggling at
it's just
him.
one of those things. It's kind of like psychology. If you don't get a master's, you're not going to get a job.
Yeah. Like it was
It's just what it is.
yeah, it just cracked me up because I'm just like what you don't know is
Right.
but this is in the future, but it gave me a good laugh.
Yeah. Cause like at this point in time in like 1990 or 2000, like, yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, yeah, he's fine.
You're totally fine.
And
Like
then
you
like
probably have tons of money now.
true. And then my favorite part. Hachi is just like she's still poking around the
She gets
computer.
so, yeah, she gets so distracted when she sees it. And she's just like, oh, it's so pretty, right? And
Yeah.
then she's like, you could sell it for a lot.
I know, and I don't know. And I think that's ridiculously funny. Is it like the automatic reaction is, "Wow, that's a cool new computer. How much do you think we could hawk it for?"
Right,
And I'm
right,
like, "Oh my
right,
God, Hachi."
right. And so then she starts crying again, and she's like, what am I supposed to eat?" And he's like, "Here's plums from my grandma."
Yeah, like
So
here.
like, yeah, so she gets rice and plums. Like she has food.
Right.
She's gonna be fine for a month,
Because the demon lord provides. You're
right?
welcome.
You're welcome.
Oh, but it gets even worse because now we like, or worse and or better because now, you know, we cut away. She's like, Shoji, you're such a jerk. You suck. How dare you share plums with me? But she's like, oh, so I lost my job. I had no idea what the hell to do. I thought for sure I'd die homeless. And then she's looking at her bank statement and she's
Right.
got these gigantic, like, yen cha-chings in her face.
Right. She got $3,000. And when
$3,000.
your rent is $350 a month, that's a bit.
I mean, to this day, I'm always like, 3 grand. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's like a month of rent.
Yeah, I still feel like it's a lot of money.
It does still feel like it should, like if you're not spending it on bills,
Yeah.
I mean, if you live very, very, very cheaply, that would last you 2 months of bills.
Hmm.
But other than that, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could buy some stuff. I could buy some books.
Right? I mean, that's what Nate and I joke all the time. I'm just like, 3 grand. And he's like, what do we do when we're sad? I'm like, add to cart.
Right.
So,
No, seriously.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, man.
so yeah, her severance pay was $3,000.
Hmm.
Um, at least that's what she says right here.
Well, that's
Which
what she thinks. She's like,
right, because she's
wow.
not even really looking at it.
Nope. Well, that's how she operates. She doesn't look at shit. She don't do that.
Right, she's just like money because the demon lord.
Yeah. And then
Um,
Nana's like, what? Are you sure it's not just 30 and you
right.
can't read? Like, you can't read the decimal point?
And then she's
Yeah.
like, "Be honest, you screwed me, Sakoshi, right?"
Yeah, yeah, she's well, Hachi also, at least in my translation, she's just like, maybe he's paying me off, and Nana's like, because you slept with him? Is that what's
Yeah,
going
in
on
mine it
here?
just says for compensation.
I mean, that can still be read as,
It can. It totally can. It totally can. And so then Nana's like, "You're a liar. I can't believe he gave you all those yen for nothing." And Nana's freaking out and is like, "I swear I'm not a liar."
She's like, no, he wouldn't, no, no, I didn't do anything with him. He
He's
went back to
even
the
going back to his old
boonies.
childhood friend.
Yeah, like he's gonna marry her or something. And she's like, it
Yeah.
sucks for me. And I'm like, what do you mean it sucks for you? And then Nana,
Um,
reads
yeah, she actually reads where it comes from. And
she's like, you're an idiot.
yeah, yeah. In mine it says you're really dense when she throws the checkbook at her.
She's like, what? She's like, no, it's not Mizukoshi. He's not the one that did it.
Yeah.
Just read it. Just read.
Read
Read
who
it
sent it to
again.
you, and then she's like, "Oh, my mom sent it."
Yeah, this
Um,
Natsuko Komatsu. Mom?
and then Nana's like, "If you run crying to your mom for every little difficulty, then I think your path to independence will be long."
Mm-mm.
And Nana's like, "But I never told her."
Yeah, she's like, I didn't tell her anything. I was afraid
Right.
that they'd make me move back home if they knew. And
Right.
then, okay, like this moment,
This moment is
this
so sad.
it's sad, but also
It's
isn't
sweet, but it's sad,
it's
but it's
it's
also like because it's not true.
it's also foreshadowing.
Right, it's foreshadowing for sure. So Hashi is like, maybe it's a mother's instinct, and
Mm.
she's like sniffling, and it pans into Nana's face of just like, oh,
Like shock.
yeah,
Like
like that's what that could be.
true. But also I'm out here on the fourth wall because we've discussed this and I'm like, no, Hachi, it's because your life is charmed.
Right. It's because yeah, it was the demon lord
It
for
was the
sure.
demon lord.
But like Nana's face, it's because she doesn't have that. She'll never have that. She doesn't know what that looks like. So if it's the assumption that it's her mother's instinct to know that she's in trouble and her mother sent her money, like
Mhm.
that is a relationship or a connection that Nana doesn't know or have.
No. And that is
Right.
that is sad. But just put a pin in this, guys,
Right.
because this is some foreshadowing.
Right. It's also really funny
Oh?
when we find out why her mother actually sent the money.
Oh yeah, that's like later.
I
Like
know.
that's the next chapter, but yes.
I know. It's really funny though. I love it.
And then like a a me person who gets in who gets paid is like, okay, cool. I got a lot of money. Let's make sukiyaki tonight to celebrate.
Right, let's go let's go make this really expensive meal.
Yeah, is it really expensive? Is
I
it
mean,
actually?
like if you think about like groceries, okay, so they just went to like the corner store essentially to buy groceries, right? Even though like Japanese
Hmm.
corner stores is like good food. Um,
Shade.
Sukiyaki is like it's it's a one pot meal and it's not like a stew, but it has like all the vegetables, all the meats, or tofu and tofu. Like it has all the things in it.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it's a lot of ingredients.
Okay, because I know you haven't gotten there, but in the new fruits basket,
Huh.
Toru makes sukiyaki at the behest of her mother.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, I mean
So,
like it's just a lot of ingredients, which equals a lot of ingredients, which equals a lot of groceries, which equals a lot of money, especially for somebody who's
okay.
poor.
Right.
Right? So, but it's essentially like a hot pot of like
Right.
all the things.
Hmm.
I love hot pot. I love hot pot so much. Um, I haven't made hot
She's
pot in so long. I'm like, oh, I want a hot pot now.
that's okay. When we were talking about rice earlier, I'm like, I can't wait to have dinner tonight. Even though I hate cooking, I'm like, I'm gonna make some rice. I really want to make rice.
And so she's like, let's invite Nobu and Shin too. And so like that's more people, which means more groceries,
More
right?
groceries, yeah.
Right.
And Nana's like, what? And she's like, no, but my mom always made sukiyaki for, for any excuse to celebrate. Let's go shopping for ingredients. And
Yeah.
Nana's like, you lost your job. What is there to celebrate? And Nana
Right.
says
You got
suddenly,
fired is what mine
yeah.
says.
She's like, why are you celebrating? She's like, Coming into sudden money." And I'm like, "Oh my God, that's like a Nate excuse. That's like a straight I have heard him use this excuse before." I'm like, "Honey, why?" And he's like, "Because this really shallow reason."
Because food tastes good.
Because it's good and I'm happy and I want this thing. And I'm like, "But honey, we need to conserve." And he's like, "We'll conserve tomorrow." And I'm like, "No." So she's like, "No,
So
you're
yeah,
insane."
like it's and so she's like, no, we've already decided on our dinner.
And it's natto, and I don't like I don't know what natto is. I feel like
Um,
I should.
so it's like fermented soybean.
Oh, that's right. It's the icky soybean thing. Sorry.
I actually like it. But yeah, it's like a sticky fermented soybean that you have with like mustard or soy sauce and you have it on rice.
Okay. I mean, okay, truthfully, because I haven't eaten it, but I look at it and I'm just like, that, um, that looks like someone sneezed on beans. I don't know what to do.
Right.
Um,
Well, I mean that's fair. That's totally fair.
so maybe if I like I get through sometimes food like if it doesn't look quite right, I'm like, okay, if I close my eyes and eat it, then I get to enjoy like
Right.
the actual flavor and just don't look at it. So,
Well, like I mean, yeah, there's that part of it. It's also really cheap food that's really high in vitamin.
oh, well that's good.
Yeah.
See, you won't die, Hachi. You'll
Right.
have vitamins. But she's really
Um
upset about it because they're gonna do the natto.
right. No, because she wants no, she's not upset about that. She's upset because now she wants this fancy meal because she has money to buy fancy food.
Right.
That's why.
True.
Um
And then of course Nana is doing she's like, you need to call your mother and thank her. And
yeah,
I'm
you need
like,
to thank her.
yeah, I'm like, yes, Hachi. Yes, you
And
need to do
Hachi's
that.
like later. And she's like, yeah, yeah, whatever.
She's like, oh, she's like, if you call your mom right now,
You're
afraid
gonna
you're gonna start
cry.
crying. And
Cry
she's
like a
like,
baby.
yeah, she's like, no, well, maybe.
Yeah. And then she's like, you've never been homesick, Nana? And Nana's like, of course not. But then again,
Yeah.
I've never had a home, remember?
Yeah.
Um,
And she looks all like sly about it, like, nope, never missed a damn thing in my life. Never
right.
once.
And then there's a look of shock. Now, I have to like make mention of this because I am rewatching the anime now at the same time.
Hmm.
Um, this tartan jacket, the plaid jacket that's being
Uh-huh.
worn here in the anime, it's a black jacket. like a black leather jacket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like it resembles Ren or Nobu.
Oh, so they keep doing that thing to you. We're like,
They
oh,
did that thing in the
Ren.
anime. They did that thing in the anime, right? Because
Oh,
even here we don't know who it is, but just because of that jacket alone, we know that it's not Ren or Nobu,
right.
right?
Right. Yeah. But I figured as soon as I saw it, I was like, I know who that
Right, but you
is.
know like who it is because it's like tailored,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
Even
the
though they're
tricks.
like not showing you Yasu's face, but it's
Right.
like you
This,
know, but
this,
like the look of shock on Nana's face
yeah, spoiler, it's
and that
Yasu.
yeah, the Yasu's there and like Nana's like Hachi is like, oh, but like this is her like moment to run to the store because she's in used to make sakiyuki.
No, that's true. So she, yeah, there's a
She
shocked look.
leaves to go like she runs.
But
Uh
she's like looking at the face. She's like, she's looking at who's sitting on the
she
ground
knows
and she
who's there,
looks at Nana.
sure, which she has her assumptions, but I think that that's like not even in the front of her mind because she's just so dead set on making this meal,
True.
right? She's like, no, I want this thing. This is my opportunity to go.
Right. She's distracted. I should run.
Right? Yeah, that's it. Simple.
And so she does. She's like, and and she leaves away. But yeah, it's just panel for like the person stands up. They come over to Nana, and Nana is crying as she leans her head on this. Oh, it's Yasu.
It's
It's
Yasu, and she
Yasu.
hasn't seen Yasu in a month.
Mm-hmm.
And they're used to seeing each other more than that, I think. And she says that like Yasu Blast, um, they're the band that formed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, essentially, Blast isn't anything without Yasu.
True.
And Yasu says, I was so worried that I couldn't sleep. So he was
Mm-hmm.
all like, he knows, you know what I mean? Like he knows this is what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And he says, anyway, there are law firms in Tokyo too.
It's true. And when I read
And
that, I was like, then why did you make such a big deal about like
because he was being practical,
mm,
because he was being practical. And also, I think it was just because like Nana had to do this first on her own without them.
that's true. But again, the
They couldn't
theme
have all
of
done it together.
I guess, but the theme of this night has been what have we learned from Miss Westwood? It's, practicality. Throw it
Yeah,
out the window.
right.
Who
Yeah,
cares?
who cares? Just do what you love and it'll work.
Right?
But you have to like go all in, and I think that's the scariest part.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yasu is the most practical, right? I think he
Mm-hmm.
also had to see that like within that it was gonna stick
Yeah.
because he is practical,
True.
right? And also he had to have the feelings. It had to sink in. And I think it sunk in for him later.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
He's methodical.
Yeah.
A
I think that
thinker.
he needed the time
Mm-hmm.
to really like just be like, "Oh." Cuz he's like says I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, that's fine, Yasu. You're forgiven, even though you
So like through
made a
that
whole
grief of
thing.
it, it's like, but wait, this thing doesn't have to die. And some people it takes a little longer for them to realize that.
Fair. I'll give it to him. But then,
Um
she's Nana is just tears, and he's
yeah.
pulling her in for a big hug, holding his
Mhm.
drumsticks,
Mhm. With his little
and
suitcases.
those little suitcases, and then we have the voiceover. It says, "So, Nana, do you still feel like you have no home? The dining room table and chairs are all still here, just like the good old days."
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm gonna read mine.
Okay, yes, you do that.
Are you still sure that you have no home? I think instead that your home is around that table of those chairs under the window, as
Hmm.
if since that time nothing had changed at all. And then we have like, I don't know, do you have this last page?
With one of
With
Nana's little
her
drawings.
wedding dress drawing and her starry eyes.
Yep.
It's so ridiculous.
It is. She's like, "Yeah, now I digress, but bear with me. No matter what anyone said, when I was young, I dreamt of being a beautiful bride, quote unquote. It was the only thing I ever wanted to be."
Oh my god. Okay, so
And that's
this
the
is
end of
what
my
this
chapter.
is what I've wanted to become more than anything. Or wait, so hold on. Now my brain is being weird.
Oh
I
no.
was reading it backwards forwards. Okay. This is a discretion, but it's not serious in quotes or in parentheses. I've always found people ever since I was a child that my dream was to be a beautiful bride. This is what I've wanted to become more than anything else.
Ah.
But it says this was a discretion, but it's serious.
I'm telling you this, but not serious.
Right? I'm telling you this, but like, but yes and yeah, yeah, and no, like maybe.
Yes, but no.
I'm questioning everything now.
But that's yeah, that's the end of the chapter. So do we want to tell people where they can find us?
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
And you can find me at Kirsten M. Darling on the Instagram and Dream and Duality on Tumblr or kirstenmdarling.com.
And I am Muff, MOTH_LACE on Instagram, and that has my link tree to all of my other projects. And we have an Instagram for this podcast, which is apartment707_. And we've got a Tumblr, which is Nana Podcast. I haven't been able to do much on there yet, but it's coming. I'm slowing my art down this year.
That's
I
fair.
yeah, I need to finish. I have like I want to do an art book.
Okay.
So I need
I
to
need
slow
to
down.
make art again.
Yes.
This year.
Yes. Yes.
It's been
Um,
many, many years now, and I'm like, oh, I should really do that thing because like my artist block needs to go away.
it's fair. No, yeah, I get that. But yeah, I just I was like, the algorithm might bury me, but I'm like, you know what? Like if you're gonna stick with me, like you're gonna stick with me, and then you can see the things that
Right, and you
come.
never know though. But also
True.
Saturn is moving into a new sign and Mars is still in retrograde. So
So, yeah.
lack of motivation is fair.
Mhm.
And we have like another week or so until that picks up again. And then Saturn's going to be very different than how it's been expressed for years now. So, yeah, it's going to be some changes and some turns. And I, I'm not going to say it's going to be better, but it's going to be different.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So, also, maybe this should be a part of this next episode. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I started watching the new Fruits Basket. I told you.
Yeah,
Okay.
you
I made
did.
it halfway through an episode. And I started watching Nana.
Oh,
And I started watching Nana.
I'm so sad. I love the new Fruits
No,
Basket.
but it was also because I was multitasking. And it was also because, like, I have feelings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have feelings about it. We know that I do.
Yep.
The last time that I watched it, I made it to episode 3 according to Hulu. Um, but like it's also because the original one
Mm-hmm.
is one of my comfort shows,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so that's a huge part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's different.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same. And so I'm
It
having a
is.
really hard time with being like, this isn't the same. I look at it and it's visibly not the same. And I'm like, but I waited for so long for season 2.
True.
So long, right? Because
Yeah.
at the end of season 1 in the original one, it ends with Kyo a monster.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, I was Shauna was watching it with me for the very first time. The new version. And
Yeah.
I told her when we got to that spot in the new version, I was like, and this is where they left us. And she looked at me and she goes, the fuck? And I'm like, yep, yep, that's where they left us. She's like, no. I'm like, yeah.
Right. No,
She's like,
so like,
that's
yeah,
awful.
it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing. And so I'm having a hard time with it. It's not personal. It's just that's why.
Yeah.
That's why. Is because like I I waited for so long and then I was so excited when it was announced.
Well, the tone
I
is
was
different.
like I was like finally. Finally, finally. Finally I get season 2. Then it comes out. I turn it on. I'm like this isn't fucking season 2. This isn't season 2. This is from the beginning. And I understand. I do. I understand that it's closer to the manga. I do. I understand. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But I am resentful.
Okay.
I am. And I mean, it's also like art technology is different because it's better. You know what I mean? And the art
Mm-hmm.
style is slightly different. And
Mm-hmm.
so, it really just comes down to the first one is it's a comfort show for me.
It's more funny. Funnier? It's funnier. The original. Like,
I mean, it's something that I put on like when I do things mindlessly, like when I'm not 100%.
oh,
And it
yeah.
has been since I was like 18.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a thing. Like, I mean, Nate and I even do this stuff like if I'm like doing something, Nate'll lean over and he'll be like, "What are you drawing?" Which is like in the show. I'm like,
Yeah.
Tori did the driving. Like we just quote just shit at each other all the time from the original. So
I mean, that's fair.
I
It's
get
totally
it.
fair. But like I'm just, it's just a thing. It's just a thing. So I'm trying. The point is that I'm trying. And then I'll make updates and I'll share.
Cool. I can't wait for the update.
When I can
through
make it
your
through an episode.
yeah, through your lens of grumpy.
Where I'm just like, no, it was already done and I've been waiting.
Yeah.
Because
Oh.
like I don't, like it's just I'm also afraid, right? Because the story is different, right? And so I'm like, are they actually going to answer any of my questions?
Did you read the manga?
Yes,
Okay.
but I haven't reread it. It
Fair.
is a comfort show. Like that is it. That is the beginning, that is the end, right?
Fair.
And like that's that little world for me. And so I have questions based on the anime.